Strong Family Bond by Erica Ruiz and illustrated by Tanushka Sampat. It was a bright Saturday morning. Jamal had just woken up. The sun was up, and as always, it was a family tradition to have some pancakes and eggs. Saturdays were for family relaxation. Jamal was a 6-year-old boy who loved to play with his friends and toys, especially his flute. He had a wild imagination and a creative mind. Sometimes he even pretended to be a pirate on a ship. He imagined sailing in the ocean, fighting sharks and sea lions. Later that afternoon, Jamal heard a thumping knock on the door. Police officers were knocking non-stop. "Open this door, or we'll break it down!" yelled the officer. Jamal was very much afraid. Dad opened the door, and the police officers rushed in. "On your knees!" roared the tall, dark officer with a thunderous voice. "You are under arrest!" The officers took Jamal's mom and dad into the police car and drove off. They didn't even have time to say a single word to Jamal. Mr. and Mrs. Ugu were lawyers and also activists working with the foster care agencies. They were willing to help Jamal so that he wouldn't go through any more traumatic experiences because of what was happening to his parents. Jamal became very sad. He hardly ate his food. He was always thinking about his parents, wondering what was happening to them. His Aunt Vera walked in the door, but sadly explained that she could not watch over him. "I'm very sorry, Jamal, but I just have so much going on." She kissed him and said goodbye. Jamal was quickly put into the foster care system, waiting for any family to take over care. He wondered whether the other children in the foster care would be nice to him. After some weeks, one family became open to receiving Jamal into their home. Jamal felt sad and excited at the same time. Simone and Amari, the foster parents, quickly enrolled him in a private school so that his education would not suffer anymore. Simone was a nurse and worked at the Red Cross Center. Amari was a high school history teacher, but loved to play his guitar often. Whenever Jamal felt sad, they read a story to him to help him relax. Jamal usually carried a flute. The flute was a gift from his parents on his 6th birthday. He loved playing his flute, and he took it everywhere he went. It was an attachment of security he felt from home. 6 months later, one sunny afternoon, while Jamal was sitting on the front porch playing his flute, he heard his name from a distance. "Jamal!" It was Mr. and Mrs. Ugu. They had some news regarding his parents. With a smile on Mrs. Ugu's face, she said she had special news for him. As the foster parents welcomed them in, Simone asked, "Coffee?" "No, thank you. We have some news regarding Jamal's parents," replied Mrs. Ugu. She mentioned, "Jamal's mother Aisha and father Frederick are in prison, taking parenting classes and programs to help them bring Jamal back home." The foster parents were very open and excited for Jamal.
"When will Mom and Dad come home?"
Jamal asked with a loud voice.
"I love being here, but I want to go home."
Jamal cried out. Simone and Amari hugged him very tight and said, "We love you so much. and want the best for you." Amari told Mr. and Mrs. Ugu that Jamal was doing great in school and that he had been playing new notes on his flute because of the music class he was taking after school. "We are happy to hear that," the Ugus replied. "We will communicate you soon. We have to go now." Jamal ran off to play his flute, while the Ugus and his foster parents talked a bit longer by the doorway. As Jamal continued to grow, emotionally and physically, he became more comfortable in his foster home. He could now read short books and received excellent remarks from his teachers. While the parents were still unable to communicate with Jamal, they both kept working on themselves, doing their best to bring their family together again. To that effect, they worked very hard and completed all their classes and got enrolled in all the resources that were available to them. After a period of some months, the Ugus visited Jamal in his foster home again. "We have a great surprise," they said. "Close your eyes." Jamal did as he was told. Within some seconds, Jamal heard some footsteps getting close to him. "Now open your eyes," the Ugus told him happily. Jamal could not believe what he saw. He saw his mom and dad standing right in front of him, with smiles on their faces and tears of joy streaming down their cheeks. He quickly jumped up and hugged them. With tears running down his own cheeks. He was so happy. He said,
Mom, Dad, I missed you so very much. I didn't know if I was going to ever see you again. I'm so glad you are here.
Jamal quickly ran and packed his belongings. He hugged his foster parents and said,
Thank you for being my parents while my parents were gone.
You are always welcome, they said. We will miss you, Jamal. Waving them goodbye, Jamal went home with his parents in a truckload of clothes, toys, and his flute. As they drove off, the wind blew to his face. He smiled with joy as he remembered when he pretended to be a pirate on a ship.